Channel 6 Sports is brought to you by Kick off the summer by picking up your new RV at Vellner Leisure Products. It's the best value you'll find for all your needs, from parts, servicing, sales, and financing. It's Vellner Leisure Products, the RV store in the corner with the fountain, Red Deer.
Red Deer's Jonathan Vellner has seen plenty of air miles through his young 27 years. From gymnastics as a youngster,
right up from when I was, 5 years old, maybe even 4, just learning front rolls. I went into competitive after, I can't even remember, maybe if I was 10 or something like that. Just easy stuff. And ultimately did a couple years at the national level.
As he grew older, the love of flying grew to the ski slopes. His talents landed him a chance to be a part of the Canadian National Aerial Development Team.
And then in 2005, I ended up making a switch, and that's what took me away from Red Deer. I went into aerial skiing, and I did 7 years with the national team at, at various levels and stuff like that. So ultimately on the national team.
As time moved on, so did Jon, realizing some achievements were a tad more important. So he made the biggest jump of his life and became a dad.
So having a baby on the way was one extra little thing that made me think maybe it's time to look at something different. So then, move the family back here to Red Deer to be close to my family. My girlfriend's family is also from Alberta, so we thought that was a good move, and it has been a really good move.
In any athlete's career, the decision to move on from their sport is often the toughest.
That took me totally out of acrobatics, and I spent a whole year just doing other things. First, I was trying to do some web design. I didn't really like it. Then I got on with a fire hall, and I was like, it's okay, but it's not really what I want to do. And it only just occurred to me when I was talking with my girlfriend. She's like, you could get back into training. Like, you always talk about it. Why don't you just do it?
Because of that, Jon's journey is taking a turn. A twist and turn. Combining his love of performing, flying, and competing. So he's looking to run away and join the circus.
I started thinking, what could I do to take my love for theater and blend that with trampoline and acrobatics? And it was around that time that I saw my very first show of Cirque du Soleil. It was Alegria, and it blew me away. And then shortly after that, an athlete from this same gym who I used to look up to a lot because he was a couple years older than me, Matt Dial, he went on to do Cirque du Soleil. In fact, he got onto that show, Alegria.
And now Jon is looking to follow in his footsteps.
Right now, I feel like this is kind of my window of opportunity. Before I get a little bit older and it becomes more and more difficult, because every year that goes by that I don't train or don't try to do it, it'll be more and more difficult to go back and do it. And I really don't want to get to a point where I decide it's too difficult and then exactly have these what if moments or have those regrets.
The toughest part is finding the places to practice, as many places aren't equipped for what he needs.
Usually I'm driving down to Okotoks. They happen to have a wall set up because one of their coaches was ex-Cirque du Soleil, so he built one just for his own purposes and happens to be there. So that works out great. Other than that, you basically have to go to Vancouver or Montreal or Toronto. So,
with his girlfriend Jessica and daughter Vienna supporting his every move, Jon focuses on the goal of making a new life for his family.
I'd much rather try it and even find out that I don't like it and maybe do 3 years or whatever and then move on to something else and at least say, hey, I tried that out. I ran away and joined the circus and maybe it wasn't all it was cracked up to be. Or maybe it was the best thing ever and it ends up being my career for the rest of my life. I don't know.
While it's not Cirque du Soleil right now, Jon is set to go on the road with a traveling aerial circus.
The show will be called I Flip. It's by a company called Malord Entertainment. They're out of Montreal. So I'm going to start my very first professional gig is going to be starting on July 17th in Edmonton. And then from there, that show is going to move eastern across Canada. And at some of those locations, maybe, for example, I'll be in Quebec City. I'm hoping that I can get some scouts for Cirque du Soleil and for other circus companies to come watch me while I'm actually performing.
In the meantime, it's a chance to follow a dream and to be an example for his daughter.
I mean, one of the things that I shouldn't say changed, but one of the things I really noticed when my daughter was born was how much I wanted to be a role model for her. And one of the things I would like to be a role model of is that you can go after what you want in life and follow what you dream. So I figured it would be pretty hypocritical for me to try and give her that talk, having not done so myself. And that's a driving force for me to train and go after these things.